Hello once again, my friends. It's time for another video, and this is from Reddit user ATL1020. Is something wrong with me? That's the name of the video. It's not me asking. I know there's something wrong with me. Obvious. Hello, Moonhorse. Hello. This is my first post. Before I start, I'd like to thank you for what you do. Oh, well, thank you for watching what I do. It really means a lot to me that you guys are here. This all occurred today. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's up to you. It's a bit lengthy. Let's see what you got. To start this off, I'm an 18-year-old girl who recently graduated. My father's side of the family decided to throw a surprise party for me since I couldn't have prom or graduation. Yeah, those dang Backstreet Boys and their reunion tour. So earlier today, my sister and I drove up to my dad's house. Once we got there, everyone's happy and congratulating me on accomplishments. Everything's going pretty good. We danced, laughed, and ate, and I was really happy for what they did for me. By the end of the party, that's when things kind of went downhill. So when the party calmed down, my dad and uncle decided to play some cards for money. That was something I was looking forward to since I showed up. We played a few rounds, and I lost a few times, and I was getting kind of angry, almost to the boiling point. When my dad won the last game, I kind of snapped. I know it's dumb to get angry over a game like I did. I felt like I needed to win to impress him, since this is a card game we always bonded over. I was cussing, and I couldn't stop myself. Everyone was shocked, and that's when I knew it was time for me to leave. As I was getting into my sister's car, my sister and dad told me that what I did was wrong, and I still feel bad for it. I feel like I ruined the fun for everyone. After apologizing to everybody and thanking them for the party, I left. On the ride home, my sister and I had a heart-to-heart. I told her I think something's wrong with me. This is the first time I snapped on someone or something. I'm aware that I have anger issues, but I don't know how to keep it at bay. I seem to get mad or sad for the smallest things, and I really don't know how to control it. My sister told me that even though I do have anger issues, she said there's nothing wrong with me, but I'm starting to have doubts. What if I snap on someone again and it's worse than this? What if I do something so bad that no one will ever want to be with me? I'm scared to tell my mom what I did because I feel like she'll hang this over my head. Even though everyone forgave me for what I did, I really feel guilty. I feel like my anger and stress will always get the best of me, especially if I'm going to college later this year. Is something wrong with me? I'm sorry if this story is long, and I can take any advice at the moment. Oh, okay. Okay. So, let's see. I'm going to give you an example. I know I'm kind of hemming and hawing over this a little bit, but I'm going to give you an example the best examples I can give are from my own life, mainly because I lived them. I had a lot of issues with controlling emotions and things like that when I was younger, too. But these are also kind of splintered things from having issues with depression. Getting extremely angry or extremely upset or really sad, sometimes without provocation, but a lot of times whenever it's like not really that big of a deal, and then not being able to understand or control what is going on, you're just mad over these things, can sometimes be symptomatic of something deeper. Or at least it was for me. I don't really have that problem too much anymore. Most of the time I can just kind of let things go. And, anybody who's seen my streams knows that I can get mad at video games or whatever, but the video games, that's a whole different thing. But not really people. I don't tend to get really mad at people very much anymore, but back when I still had to deal with a bunch of neckbeards, and I was also dealing with chronic depression and, the early stages of pretty severe alcoholism, I did have a lot of problems with that. But I don't really have that anymore, mainly because I've found a way to kind of address these issues, to kind of get something to express how I feel, and to basically kind of let this stuff out. Doing this helps a lot. Being able to talk to everybody helps a lot. But with that being said, I'm not saying, start a podcast, not unless you really want to. What I am saying is you may need to talk to somebody. Not me, I'm not bonded or licensed by anything, but I mean like an actual therapist, someone who can actually help, someone who can actually, help you work through these issues and help you reach a point where you feel better, not just about everything, but about yourself as well. It's really important to take care of your mental health as well as your physical health. I mean, you can be the fittest person on the planet, but if you're constantly stressed or constantly upset, it doesn't matter how much you can deadlift. You're not going to want to. And you're not going to feel like it, matters. So that's the first thing I would recommend, is talking to somebody who actually, is way more qualified than my goofy ass, and can actually do something to help you more. Now, with that being said, there's a couple other things that I kind of want to address when it comes to that particular thing, because I've heard this a couple times from people whenever I, give the advice of talking to a therapist or a psychiatrist or something like that. It's like, well, I don't want to do that because, I don't want them to put me on some kind of medication, like happy pills. Like, all right, happy pills is a very untrue misnomer. It's really not that. I've known a lot of people who have been on antidepressants, who have been on, mood elevators and stuff like that, and it's not about forcing you to be happy. It's about giving you the advantage over your depression or your emotional issue or anything like that, so that you can come at it with a much more clear perspective. And that's really important. That helps a lot. I think I said this in another video concerning depression and concerning, these kinds of emotional issues. I was always worried when I had these things that if I did stuff to change myself, I wouldn't be the same person. And therefore, I was incredibly worried about doing anything about this. And there's kind of a plus and minus to this. The truth of the matter is, you won't be the same person. I mean, you'll still be you, but you're going to be a better version of you. You're going to be the you that you want to be, not the you that you are when you're this upset. You're going to be able to find that person that you really aspire to be. And that helps out a lot. I still like the things that I liked, and still, am the same person I am. But I'm a much happier, much healthier, and in much better mental health, I guess, in a much better place than I was like 10 years ago. I feel great about the things I do, and I love the community that I'm involved with. So there's no shame in talking to people, and if they have to give you some kind of medication, there's no shame in that either. And anybody who does tell you there's some kind of, oh, you shouldn't be talking to this, or you shouldn't be taking those pills, they can fuck off. Because it's not their mental health. It's yours. And the only person that your mental health should matter to is you. You're the only one who's ever going to have to live with it. So your choices on what to do with it are entirely up to you. Which is the reason why I'm giving advice and not like an order. Because I don't know. Only you know how you feel inside. So I understand that you're really worried about these things, and that's, that's fine. It's okay to be worried. Being upset or being worried is the first step to understanding that there's a problem. Because if it didn't worry you, you wouldn't know that there's a problem. You would think it's just normal. I've got the same way with my depression too. I realized when it started interfering with all the things that I enjoy and kind of ruining stuff in my life that, that's not okay. That's a problem. So it's nothing bad, and there's no shame in that. It's part of a thing. It's part of how we learn as people. I realized that the phrase part of a thing is incredibly vague and didn't actually explain anything. I'm good with words. It is kind of this whole learning experience, though. We learn step by step, and if it's something we've never really experienced, and we have no frame of reference for, we're going to learn slowly. But that's okay. At least you are learning, and that's the most important part. So, yeah, I guess in my own weird way, my terrible advice is, it's not terrible, actually, it's pretty helpful advice, if I'm being honest, is to actually talk to somebody who's much more qualified than me. That would be a good thing when it comes to advice given, which is, yeah, I don't know shit. I'm a goofy space unicorn who reads neckbeard stories. You should actually probably talk to somebody who knows more than me. But the main thing to take away is to remember that you are cared about and you are loved. Everybody cares about you and everybody loves you. You're not alone. That's the most important part to remember. The absolute most important part is to remember that you are not alone and that people do care. So, yeah, and that goes for all of you, actually. I love you guys, and I say that at the end of every video, but I mean it every time, too. And mainly because sometimes you need to hear it. Sometimes you need to hear that, you're not alone, and that people do care about you. And even if it is from a weirdo like me. But it's true. You're not alone, and people do care. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves out there, okay? Bye.